Today we're talking about a huge news story coming out of the Counter-Strike 2 world. This is one that could really change the CS2 markets forever. So what you are looking at on the screen right now is Buff163. This is the highest volume trading website for CS2 items, a place where you can buy, sell, trade anything, and people do this all the time. This is a Prisma 2 case, one of the most popular cases in Counter-Strike. It's something that gets opened all the time. It gets bought, sold, and traded all of the time. It's a very, very high volume item. But you'll see right here, there are no Prisma 2 cases listed on Buff163 right now, and there's no buy orders for any Prisma 2 cases either. What the heck is going on? Obviously something very, very strange and potentially something very problematic. That's what we're going to be talking about in this video today. But of course, first, let me plug my cash trading business real quick. If you are looking to buy or if you're looking to sell any of your CS2 items for cold hard cash or crypto or any other payment methods, definitely hit me up over on Twitter. It's going to be the first link in the description below. We can get a deal done for pretty much anything and everything. I'm buying all different kinds of items, anything for the right price. And of course, by selling to me, you're helping support me, my channel, and my content, and you're giving yourself a way to easily, safely, efficiently, effectively, quickly cash out your items into cash. So if that sounds interesting, like I said, hit me up over on Twitter. With that being said, let's get right into this today. So a huge change that has some people in the markets very worried, very concerned, and a little bit scared. There is paranoia going on once again. It seems like we just finished with the last CS2 market drama. All the trading sites and the peer-to-peer sites having all these issues a couple weeks ago. We finally got that figured out. We got that worked out. We're back online. Trading is back after being dead, but now there are some talks about trading potentially being dead once again. So here we go. This tweet from Arrow, a popular CS content creator, obviously. He says, looks like Buff163 is no longer allowing the sale of CS2 cases, capsules, and packages. They're the largest marketplace in the world. I'm assuming it's China forcing them to stop selling cases and capsules. This might start to make cases a lot cheaper. And then here he tweeted out, CSGO Weapon Case 3, not available for sale. Operation Breakout Case, not for sale. Operation Hydra Case, not for sale. And here it says, cannot filter out weapon boxes and capsules. Weapon boxes cannot be uploaded. This order has been completed but not yet settled. Why isn't the seller shipped the goods? Change Buff mobile number. And they say weapon box capsules, commemorative bags cannot be put on the shelves for sale. Hello, due to operational strategy adjustments, this type of game items are currently unavailable for trade. If you need to trade, you can go to the Steam Community Market or enter the game to purchase. So Buff163 not really telling us a ton there, but again, there are a lot of people very, very concerned about this. And yes, this is crazy because I just last night before I left for work was selling a bunch of cases on Buff163. It is a great way to buy and sell cases in bulk. They have huge volumes. They do a ton of trading. There is just a ton of money coming through Buff163 all the time. People buy and sell a ton of stuff. There's always a ton of buy orders. There's always a ton of people selling a ton of stuff. So I was looking to sell, I was selling 400, 500, 600 cases, whatever. And really the only good way to do that right now is through Buff163. None of the other sites really have the volume to be able to facilitate deals like this, at least not safely, at least not quickly, and at least not with any kind of ease at all. You can use Float, you can use Buff Market, you can use some of these other sites, but it's kind of a pain in the ass, and you can't do it in bulk. You can't do it quickly. There's just no great way. So what was weird is last night before I left for work, I did a bunch of trade. I sold hundreds of cases, and then while I'm at work, I started seeing these tweets. I started getting messages, whatever. So it was really crazy. I was literally selling stuff, and then I come back and it's just gone. This whole thing's wiped out. This is very strange and very crazy. And obviously people are wondering, why is this happening? How long is this going to last? If it's forever or not forever or whatever. And then what is this going to do to the case markets? Are cases going to crash? Are cases going to collapse? Are cases going to tank? I don't know. There's definitely a lot of different thoughts and opinions out there. So we'll have to take a look at what's going on. But here was Nalo's take on the opinion. He said the buff update should ironically help the value of cases and capsules. The demand for them isn't going to decrease now, and it's not being met by buff anymore. Plus, they are now slightly more scarce in the sense of your ability to obtain them. He does go on to say, however, I do predict a short-term decrease due to people needing to list their supply on other markets. I think that's definitely a big point. I don't see this mass listing being met by new demand for the cases, for the capsules and cases, so I would assume a decrease in value. Video breaking down a little bit more coming soon. So yeah, he says ban of cases on Chinese TikTok should reduce the demand by a tad, I'm assuming. And that is also something very, very interesting because I have another tweet here where this guy says now searching for CS2 open cases on TikTok will show gambling refused. I think that's probably only in China, whatever. But yeah, it seems like China, or at least companies in China, different companies are cracking down on some of this gambling or case openings or whatever going on in CS2. We have a couple other takes on the situation. If Buff shut down because of my child, I I'd put them up for adoption. Kind of funny, but Netty says that if it receives further instructions, it will completely remove all accessories from the shelves and close all trading channels. A move aimed at preventing young people from becoming addicted to the game due to their blind box mechanism and protecting their physical and mental health. This guy said it's Jover. It's the worst outcome. I think Buff is trying to legally comply with restrictions. CS Float, you're our only hope now for mass selling capsules and cases. Please upgrade your UI, which is definitely a big something that's needed. Like I said, you can try and sell and float and stuff like that, but there's no good way to quickly or like do it well at all, buy or sell in bulk. And again, Float doesn't even have near the volumes or the numbers that Buff 163 was doing. So now, yeah, all these people who were buying and selling huge numbers of cases and capsules and all these other items on Buff 163, they need a place to go. So it's definitely going to be an interesting time in the markets over the next couple of days and weeks to see where these volumes and these supplies of cases, both being bought and sold, are going to go and where those prices are going to shift. There's definitely a big opportunity for all the websites out there now to try and capture this market that is being left behind by Buff 163. But like I said, most people in the community understand that right now there's no clear winner, there's no clear place to go. So maybe some websites will be making some changes here soon. I don't know. I think they definitely should if they want to try and steal some of this market share. Here's another interesting take. This guy said Buff removing cases from their site will ultimately drive more demand back onto the Steam community market, making it much more likely for prices to increase rather than to fall. It's the only proper alternative to buy bulk now, too. Always fun to see the instant panic and the end is near fear after any change in the market. Ra here says, I agree with this point on a short-term vision, but long-term this feels like yet another hit in the confidence of CS skins and cases future. Because, again, I've talked about this as well. We have seen multiple different countries now all over the world trying to crack down on cases and gambling and all stuff like that, trying to make these things illegal or putting a ton of restrictions on them or whatever. And of course, that is going to hurt things or potentially hurt things and the confidence of the markets and consumers in the long term, which could definitely affect prices. Casing getting banned in more and more countries, especially China, doesn't feel good at all. This specific update might not be so bad after all, but it could introduce opening to more people, opening to multiple more restrictions happening to Chinese friends in the future, who are a driving factor to this market. So that's definitely something to keep an eye out on. There was something going on for a little while where Buff was now requiring know your customer for selling items. They updated their terms of service about a month ago to specifically ban anything gambling related. Overall, it seems like this is a way to keep their platform completely gambling free. I think they've now rolled this back. I think it was a bug or something where you don't need to do the know your customer anymore to actually sell on Buff 163, but it was something for a little bit. This was just another tweet from Osni. He said Buff disabled the sale of CS2 cases, capsules, and packages, and according to them, the decision was not forced by an external entity, because obviously there is a lot of people saying, hey, did the Chinese government make you do this? Did some kind of Chinese entity make you do this or whatever? And Buff 163 says this was not forced by that, but obviously that's going to leave people scratching their heads and people wondering what the heck is going on, because, hey, we know Buff 163 is making a ton of money off selling cases on their site, selling capsules on their site. When Paris came around, again, buying capsules in bulk and selling capsules in bulk on Buff 163 was a huge way that that people got a lot of their Paris supply. It's going to be a huge thing for Copenhagen right now. So why did Buff 163, who is a business, obviously businesses have the incentive to make profit, why would they just remove such a huge part of their potential revenue and profit structures without some kind of outside force? It doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to people. So obviously, and we know China has had a history of doing stuff like this previously and in the past. It wouldn't be the first time that the Chinese government or some Chinese entities would, exude some outside force on certain companies or certain kind of, I don't even know, markets or areas or whatever, for a reason that they see fit or due to something that they deem to be in their interest. No one seems to know the reason, but the most common guess is potential future Chinese government regulations related to CS cases. Keep their platform gambling free. If you go there now, you'll literally only see skins and no form of gambling. Case farmers using Buff to cash out as they have a bulk sell feature. This was just me, so probably delusional, which I think is kind of funny. But yeah, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see there. And then finally, last tweet I did want to talk about here from Ra. He says, for the last hour, I've been trying to figure out the possible effects that the Buff case ban might have. I'll try to make something more in depth later. As for now, as always, don't panic. For the last 9 years, I've been in this business thinking the market was dead on countless occasions. Against all odds, it's only gotten better from there. Remember about 2 months ago after the Copenhagen Major, we had extra trade restrictions introduced. Nothing happened. And ultimately, at the end of the day, that is where my opinion lies. Like I said, we have seen throughout the history of the Counter-Strike markets time and time again, instances where people thought trading was dead or a certain sector of trading was dead or cases were dead or gambling was dead or blah, blah, blah. But truly, this market, what it does, as long as the game is being successful, people are playing the game, and with how much money people and time and everything and resources people have invested into the markets and all that stuff, they're usually going to find a way, unless there's truly no other options or unless truly Valve or China or one of these companies really shuts stuff down. even if China does put in restrictions or Valve put in restrictions or whatever, Chinese people will still be able to get cases. There was ways before, there will be ways in the future. And again, I think honestly, in some ways, this could make case prices increase. Now, it will be interesting to see. Are case prices going to drop, increase, decrease, whatever? So far, case prices pretty flat. Prism 2 case hasn't really seen any changes. Dreams and Nightmares case last 5 days, it's up, but you can see recently it's up rather than even down. Chroma 2 case, it's up a little bit over the past couple days. Revolver case looks pretty flat over the past couple days. Glove case, looks pretty flat over the past couple days. So far, the reaction to this news hasn't been for cases to drop or crash or crater or anything. Seems like they really haven't had much to do with this at all. Just like when we saw the peer-to-peer trading sites have issues a couple days ago, we didn't see the market crash because Buff 163 was still there as an option. Now, when Buff 163 is having issues with some of these, all those other sites are still there as options. You still have Steam Community Market. There is no necessarily reason for cases to absolutely be crashing or cratering just yet. Now, again, the market's going to adapt. The market's going to change. The ways that we buy and sell cases and the things we have to do might change. And obviously, this is going to be a big inconvenience for a lot of people. But in the end, maybe it'll end up being better. Maybe it'll end up being worse. Who knows? But I don't necessarily see a reason why prices need to crash just yet, unless some more things happen in the future, which could happen. We'll have to keep an eye on it. But that's pretty much it for this video today, guys. Hopefully catch you the next one. Until then, peace.